And Mine Crypto here. I hope we're all having a wonderful day. Please remember, I'm not a financial advisor and none of this is financial advice, and none of the information provided in this video should ever be a signal to buy or to sell. But please remember to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and do me a favor, drop me a comment. Thank you. But first and foremost, we look at these crypto bubbles before we get into the nitty gritty of today's video. And as we can see, looking a bit red today. But we're up one rank to 70 with a market cap of $1.12 billion, current price $92. Volume currently quite low at $16 million. In the last hour, we're down 0.9%. And in the last day, we are down 1.2%, down 4.2% in the week. But as you know, I always say this does not bother me in the slightest, especially with what I believe, personally, in my opinion, is coming. But we're going to get onto that in a moment. We look at the quant exchange reserves. As usual, we can see currently, again, the last value was 1.56 million, the total exchange reserves. But if we look at the spot exchange reserves, we can see we're still sitting at around that 250,000 mark on the spot exchanges at 249 there. But the information we're going to talk about today, it says here, the UK to legislate crypto asset regulatory framework by the end of July. Now, there is no coincidences. Now, I really honestly believe this, and this has sent me down a bit of a rabbit hole. Now, we're going to get onto that. First and foremost, we look at this. We can see the UK Finance Minister announced that government plans to legislate for regulatory crypto asset framework by the end of July. Now, we know how important this is for the crypto market, especially here in the UK, and how that relates to quant and quant gateways, everything else. Now, we're not talking about gateways today, but we see here UK Economic Secretary to the Treasury, Bim Afalami, said the government will legislate by the end of July on regulatory framework to crypto assets. The timescale for the enactment of legislation that concerns the oversight of stablecoins, crypto staking, exchange, and custody services will be delivered by Afalami at the Innovate Finance Global Summit on Monday, which we already know about. Bear with me. We are now working at a pace to deliver the legislation to put our final proposals for our regime in place, Afalami said. Once it goes live, a whole host of crypto asset activities, including operating in exchange, taking custody of customers' assets, and other things is really important, will come within the regulatory perimeter for the first time. The UK's timeline to develop crypto regulatory framework. In February, Afalami, the Member of Parliament for Hitchin and Harpenden, affirmed that the UK government aimed to complete secondary stablecoin legislation within 6 months. So it's coming very, very quickly. Now, in October 2023, the UK government published proposals that outlined its intention for regulating the crypto sector. They included a requirement that firms obtain authorization from the Financial Conduct Authority, the FCA, to perform crypto-related activity. October's proposal followed the UK Treasury's consultation response in August that agreed on an arrangement that the Bank of England and the FCA would co-supervise systemic stablecoins. Earlier in 2023, the UK passed the Financial Services and Markets Bill, establishing the groundwork for regulators to commence developing a framework for overseeing stablecoins and cryptocurrency financial activities within the country. Now, we know this is so important. We're seeing all these memes fly up into the atmosphere, and yet we're seeing a lot of the utility coins just sit around doing nothing. And that's the case for Quant at the moment. Quant is waiting for regulation. Now, there's some really, really important information, and we're going to tie this all up so that you can see where I'm coming from. And I think you'll see exactly the same thing. Now, we see here from Norton Rose Fulbright, the UK government published the proposals on the UK's financial services regulatory regime for crypto assets in October 2023. Closely followed by the FCA and the Bank of England discussed papers on their proposed rules to implement phase one of the regime for fiat-backed stablecoins, while the government has now confirmed that crypto assets are to become regulated in an expansive way. The draft secondary legislation is yet to be published, expected in 2024, and much of the detail will be set out in the regulator's rules, which will need to be consulted on in due course. So there is still considerable way to go before the industry can start to plan for the new regime. Follow-on consultation papers from the FCA and the BOE are on stablecoins regime are expected around H2 2024. So again, everything's happening now. And we also see this from Quant, the words from Gilbert Verdian. Blockchain in 2024, the year of institutional adoption. And those words resound in my head constantly because they are giving us details. Now, what's really important, as we know, we look at the SATP. We look at the secure asset transfer architecture. The data tracker says here, and I've been posting this, changed slightly, the associated WG milestone, July 2024. This coincides with, in my mind, with regulations in July 2024. And Gilbert already highlighted that 2024 was the year of regulation. And this is where I believe that we're going to see a massive adoption, regulation from the government, followed by standards for the crypto space. Now, I wanted to take it a little bit further than that. So I did a bit of digging. So we see here, I thought I would ask a few AI. Now, first of all, my attempts with AI like Claude, ChatGPT, I tried Leo on BraveNet, and it came up with the same answer. It wasn't sure. So I thought, well, let's try Grok, the only free speech. The question I asked, is there a correlation between the Secure Asset Transfer Protocol call for adoption in July 2024 and the UK new stablecoin and crypto laws in July 2024? And Grok came up with the source. And Grok says, yes, there is a correlation between the Secure Asset Transfer Protocol for adoption in July 2024 and the UK's new stablecoin and crypto laws in July 2024. The UK government is set to introduce new crypto staking and stablecoin legislation by July of this year, as announced by the Economic Secretary Bim Afellami at the Innovate Finance Global Summit in London on April 15th, 2024. The new legislation is part of a broader effort by the UK government to become a global hub for the crypto and digital assets, which includes recognizing stablecoins and crypto broadly as a regulated financial activities in the country. The Secure Asset Transfer Protocol, SAT protocol, call for adoption in July 2024 aligns with this timeline, as it is likely to be part of the broader push to establish regulatory clarity and frameworks for digital assets in the UK. The SAT protocol is a critical component of digital asset management and transfer, and its adoption alongside the new stablecoin and crypto laws indicates a coordinated effort by the UK government to provide a comprehensive framework for the digital asset industry. In summary, the correlation between the SATP call for adoption and the UK's new stablecoin and crypto laws in July 2024 is part of the UK's government strategy to foster a supportive environment for digital assets and position the country as the leading hub in the global crypto and digital space. Now, wow, I had to go looking for that. Now, naturally, obviously, some of the other AIs aren't really up to date, but Grok, freedom of speech, will give it the source and give it to us straight. And that really got me excited because it confirmed also what I was also thinking, these dates, July. Now, personally, at that point, we may see the gateways because I believe Quant Network is waiting for SATP. And obviously, we're waiting for these regulations. Now, I can see it. I don't know if you can see it. What do you think? Drop me a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think this is on the money? Do you think July is the start when everything happens, when we get those regulations, when we get Quant being announced, when we get SATP being announced as being used? Now, we also see this. I thought this was absolutely brilliant. The Quant of Monte Cristo puts out this exponential growth. We are in a quiet before the storm. He sees September, October 2024 being a very good time for quant holders. And I've also talked about Metcalfe's law in another video. The value of a network is proportional to the square of the number of users. Robert Metcalfe. If in each new node connects to all existing nodes, we see here 1, 2, 3, we see this network effect, massive network effect. The number of connections starts to increase exponentially. Absolutely. Now, is it a coincidence this is all coming together? Is it a coincidence that at the start of the year, Gilbert Verdian told us 2024 is the year of adoption? So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please remember to subscribe, hit that notification bell, drop me a comment. All the best, and I'll catch you later.